Welcome back to The Brokest Guy in the Room. This is Chris Kushner. This episode is about giving in to your gifts. A lot of people struggle with the thing that they're most natural at. In my case, for as long as I can remember, I've had a bit of the gift of gab. Spoken word, poetry, communication, storytelling. It's all come so naturally to me. And it's something I absolutely love to do. It's something that I love to do so much that I could have never dreamed that it could be a source of income. I love doing it so much, and it's so much fun that it was hard for me to imagine ever that this could be something that I did for a living. And in this journey coming to Bali, I have experienced so many different opportunities and so many different things to make me feel, to make me realize that this couldn't be further from the truth. That, in fact, I had a massive opportunity to make things happen for myself in this space because of the effect that it has on other people. Coming here, I tend to get stuck in patterns a lot. I am a creature of habit. And so when I'm at my best self, I'll start my day 6 a.m. Lately, I've been doing the 30-30-30, try and get, this is based on the 4-hour body. So I'll try and wake up within 30 minutes, ingest 30 grams of protein, and then follow that up but with 30 minutes intensive cardio, be it the Bikram yoga series or weight training or some CrossFit exercises or a combination of all the of them. And that's usually the best start to my day. And then I'll go into my creative space, and I will come back. I'll try and write, or I'll edit content if I'm not feeling the flow. I kind of get in that routine. Well, a pattern has emerged here that every time that I kind of break the routine, I'll find myself going out, and almost every single time there will be an interaction with a human being who really needed that interaction on that day. And when I do this, it tends to respin my wheel. And my cycle starts all over again of where I start to feel explosively inspired and fluid with the pen. And I start remembering what I have to offer. And that the art of storytelling truly is an art form. And it's one that I excel at. And it's one that I've fallen madly in love with. See, being able to inspire people, to motivate them, to lift them up by talking about the experiences I've had, the hardships I've survived, the triumphs that I've experienced, the struggles that I've endured, the things that have made me stronger, the things that have broken me, the things that have rebuilt me. For years, I would spend a lot of my life wondering why I had to go through so many of these things in such great frequency. Why do I have to keep being tested? Why do I have to keep being tested? And of course, ultimately, you realize through time that the reason I had to keep being tested is because I was destined to be strong. I was destined to empower other people, to help people find inner faith, to show people what was possible, what you can survive, what you can achieve. And I think the most impactful thing that I can offer now through this experience at this point in my life is the realization that if you are willing to give into your gifts, you can have the dream life that you always wanted. Perhaps it's something that you wouldn't dare to articulate. Perhaps it was something that scares the hell out of you. I know for me, the thought of being able to live my life simply speaking as my trade is so attractive to me that it's terrifying to reach for. And it's one that I've constantly created my own distractions to get in the way of. For years, I've had people telling me, even since I was a child, since I was 13 years old. When I was 13, or I think when I was 14, actually, that was the first time I had the opportunity to touch thousands of people at once. And this happened in Disneyland in Anaheim, California. First time I got on stage, there's a few thousand people in the room, and I shared my poetry. And at the end of it, all of those people were on their feet, most of whom were in tears. And after that, I had people embracing me in every possible way telling me their stories and how it related to them. Now, I had no idea this is what was going to happen when I did something that terrified me more than anything I could have ever imagined. And I experienced on that day a reward that I've spent the rest of my life trying to recreate. And I can tell you that I've not been able to do this through any sort of financially motivated thing. There's no amount of money that I've ever made that has given me even the slightest bit of that satisfaction. Not even close. And, I've done well for myself over the years, but there is nothing that I've achieved financially that has ever held parallel to what I've achieved emotionally. In fact, some of my greatest financial gains have led to my worst depressions. Empty pursuits. Because when you acquire that which you pursue and you realize it was an empty pursuit, you realize that all of that effort that went into it was truly for nothing. But nothing is for nothing. And as you sort of evolve into this emotional space, you realize that. And it's one of the most important realizations that a person can have, at least in my eyes. One of the most incredible, epiphanies I've had is learning to have gratitude for everything that happens in my life. When I was younger, I was severely bullied. I was heavy-set. I was awkward, unsure of myself. And this had a lot to do with the fact that I was the youngest by a mile, not just in my own household, but even of my cousins. And so everyone in my family, all the people that, I was always that younger, fat kid trying to tag along. And I never felt cool. I never felt like I fit in. In fact, this actually led me to have a lot of abandonment issues, because it seemed like from the moment that I showed up, everybody had somewhere else to be. And of course, as a kid, you start to internalize that and you think, well, that must be because I suck or because you start creating all of these horrible things and that none of which are true, but, they make sense to the circumstances because they make sense to the circumstances. I guess there's no other way to say it. And so, I felt, I spent most of my youth feeling alone, feeling not good enough, wondering why I was put in this position, wondering why did my parents have to wait so long to have me? Why did my brothers have to go to military school? Why is everyone who I want to be around far away? How come nobody wants to hang out with me? How come everybody's got something better to do? How come I don't have anything to do? And then as you set into school and you realize just how cruel kids can be. Set into school, kids will be cruel. And I got teased a lot. There was a lot of things that made me feel terrible about myself. And what happened as a result? Well, what happened as a result was I started training in karate, and coming the summer, going into 7th grade, I knew I was going to be able to join wrestling the next year, and I had been wanting to wrestle forever, wrestling and football, mainly because my older brothers wrestled, my cousin Willie wrestled. Pretty much all the people I looked up to and wanted to be like, they were all good on the wrestling mat. And so going into that summer, I decided I was going to transform my body, and I did something incredible. I made a pact with myself, and I've told this story before in this podcast. But I made a pact that I would not leave my room until every morning I had done 1,000 sit-ups, 1,000 push-ups, and 1,000 body squats. I didn't care how long it took. And I did this to exhaustion. And over the course of the summer, I transformed my body. And going into 7th grade, everyone thought I was a new kid. And my experience in 7th grade was completely different than any experience I had had going forward or previously. Suddenly, I was popular. Suddenly, I was attractive. Suddenly, girls wanted to date me. And it would be years before I'd be able to associate that directly with the bullying that I received. It would be years before I would be able to have gratitude for all of that. Because I never would have found the strength if I didn't need it. You see, I needed to be chastised in order to realize what it is to be able to resist. in order to realize what it is to be able to react. Throughout my life, and there's a lot of people who believe that a lot of ailments are trauma related. And one of the things when I was a kid, because I was chubby and I didn't want to be, I used to hold in my stomach all the time. As an adult, I've been diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I've struggled with stomach issues my whole life. And one of the amazing discoveries was that better than any medication, certainly better than that poison Humira that they offer as a solution, which essentially shuts your immune system down. Certainly better than that was life change style. See, this is one of the things about Western medicine is that, most, at least in my experience, most ailments, be them psychological, physical, most of them can be directly addressed with lifestyle changes. But lifestyle changes are hard. That's the reality. And most people want an easy solution. And so we turn to a medicine, and I use that term very loosely because I truly do not believe that most of what Western medicine offers is medicine. It's a scapegoat, a bait and switch. Here, take this. It'll get rid of that, but it'll give you this. Tell me I'm wrong. I got into a discussion the other day with my sister because, I spoke about how I believe that antidepressants are poison. The reason that I say this is because in my experience, and I've been diagnosed as bipolar, I've been put on all sorts of different garbage, and none of it actually helped me. What helped me was addressing the root of the problem, right? In this case, on that particular post, what I was talking about is how purpose is the cure for depression, and how every time that I've had, a focused goal that I was working towards on a daily basis, there was no depression. Depression settled in when I felt absent purpose. And so my belief is that you change your environment, you change your pattern, and you will find a change that is greater than any pill that you can offer. You change your diet. The things that we consume physically, mentally, they impact our body. Yeah, big secret. Believe it or not, what you put in your body affects your body, right? Simple concept. Yet as Americans, we're so prone to put poison in our body and then wonder why we feel sick, wonder why we're upset, depressed, wonder why we don't look the way we want to look. What I've found, what I was shocked to find after spending 7 years being poked, prodded, and going down the diagnostic tunnel of discovering that it's Crohn's disease, which, quite frankly, I knew from the beginning. I knew since I was 19 years old that what I was suffering from was Crohn's disease. However, I needed to be, poked, prodded for hundreds of thousands of dollars so that I can, be told that this is what I have. And then be offered a medicine, namely Humira, that would ultimately cause me to get sick from everything else. And finally, I said, enough's enough. And it was here in Bali that a few things happened. One, I discovered yoga and breath work. And I discovered that so much of my stomach pain was directly related to improper breathing. And one of the things about improper breathing is that when your body undergoes trauma, that's actually how your body sends the signal that it's going through trauma. Your breath pattern changes. I discovered this in yoga. And so when you are in a traumatic situation or in pain, if you're actually able to regulate your breath, you'll find remarkable things start to happen in your body. You can reduce your heart rate. You can regulate cramps. You can redirect energy flow. If you get really good at it, you can even activate your pituitary gland. Through yoga, particularly through hot yoga and thermodynamics, heating up my body to a point at an accurate point in a day and then breathing through it would help all of my systems, all of my circulatory and regulatory systems execute properly. Then you add into this the removal of all the toxic foods, poisons, things that my body couldn't have, and there's a lot of them. And that also dealt with a very disciplined path of diagnosing these things, keeping a food journal, actually paying attention to the effect that the things that I put in my body had on my body directly and immediately. All of these things helped me to start to identify and to improve my circumstances. The first time that I was away out of the country for over 3 months was the first time that I went months without stomach pain. And I can tell you it's happening again here now. You know, since I've been here, I've started shopping at local markets, trying to learn the language, cooking all of my food, eating good, clean, healthy food, having daily practice of meditation, daily practice of exercise, daily dedication to my craft. And then identify the fact that I am working towards a dream goal of a life that I spend practicing my greatest skill, which is storytelling and inspiring. And I've always put other distractions in place in the way of this, finding different businesses, financial pursuits. And ultimately, all I've been doing really is hiding from the life that I truly wanted. And so I'm going to take this moment on this episode to make a pact and to tell you that going forward, everything that I'm doing is going to be to hone in this craft and is going to be to take steps forward towards giving into my gifts so that I can share them at their highest level with the people who stand to benefit from them. And that's all of you wonderful people listening and following and watching. All of the support that I've gained during this journey has made me better at what I do. And so I want to take a moment to express my eternal love and gratitude to all of you for that. And I want to take a moment to express the same love and gratitude to all of the critics of what I've been doing. Because equally, if not greater, they have caused me to retract and to hone my craft and to get better and to improve my offerings. And so thank you. Going back to the idea of most illnesses being related to trauma, and this is one of the things I've come to believe is that my stomach issues is because even as an adult, and it wasn't until I was doing yoga that I identified that I was constantly sucking in my stomach and not allowing myself to breathe properly. You see, if you want to know how a human being should breathe, you just look at a newborn and you'll see their belly inflate and deflate, inflate and deflate. Most adults trap their oxygen in their chest. They take shallow breaths subconsciously. They slouch their shoulders forward, which closes your air passage. They develop poor posture over the years. And I can tell you that myself, I've even identified that after I have a meal, big or small, my tendency is immediately to kind of slouch over in my seat. And this causes an immediate production of gas and immediate pain. And this is something that, as I've started to correct and become aware of, and really focus particularly after eating, on sitting up straight, pulling my shoulders back, chest out, and breathing deeply into my belly. And the pain goes away. The cramps go away. The production of gas slows. And I feel better. It's one of the reasons that in Bikram Yoga series, there's a constant repetition of focus only on your breathing. Focus only on your breathing. Because, well, your breathing is what gets you through. See, it's very easy in that moment to start to really just focus on trying to pull your body, force your body into a posture that you're going to have difficulty getting into. And most of us know the truth is that you can't force your body to do anything because your body's going to develop negative muscle memory. It's going to start to react. And so every time you go into that space where you start to try and execute a posture, the resistance you're going to get is amplified from your own muscles. Versus if you learn to breathe and relax, and every time you exhale, you're able to just relax a little bit further into the posture as opposed to forcing your body into it. Before long, you'll find that you're able to exhibit a flexibility you never knew. And from that flexibility and the ability to breathe within that position, you truly gain the benefits of that position. And through the various positions, you can do things such as activate your thyroid gland, slow it down, regulate it, improve your blood pressure. You can get rid of things like tennis elbow. You can relieve pressurized gas in the wind removing series. You can eliminate back pain, hip pain. You can increase your mobility, and in doing so, actively increase your strength, albeit a different kind of strength. I've been getting the comment a lot lately from people that telling me that I look so skinny. Truth is, I haven't really lost a ton of weight, but my muscle structure has changed. My muscles have started to elongate, and as a result, again, my flexibility has gone through the roof. Every time I think I've kind of, hit as much as my body will give through the continued practice of yoga, I find that I'm able to reach new heights and new planes and set new goals. Closing out on the trauma-related thing, it's similar to giving into your gifts. When you're able to sort of identify that a practice that you have that's a negative one, that's associated with a trauma or perhaps an illness, and you're able to truly get to the root of it and identify it and work with it and come to peace with it, I promise you will start to find relief from it. There's a great author who I love, Louise Kay, wrote a book called Heal Your Body. Highly recommend it. And which she talks about one of the most traumatic circumstances a person can imagine, leading to one of the most tragic circumstances a person can endure, and ultimately her triumph over that circumstance, in this case it was a cancer, by coming to terms with and forgiving her body for and forgiving the offender for, I'm trying to find a kind way to say it, but essentially she was, sexually assaulted by somebody very close to her in her life, and she had to come to terms with this, and was able to actually cure cancer from this. And if you've never heard of her, definitely check her out. She's an incredible author, Louise Kay. I was so blessed to find her books, and they had such an impact on me. Because ultimately, every time I realize, and it's still to this day, no one's perfect. Everything's a path of growth. But even still to this day, I find myself in situations that are tense or where my nerves start to get the better of me. I do the same thing. My breath becomes shallow, my stomach becomes locked, and before long, anxiety turns into stomach pain. And the moment that I become aware of it, I'm able to work through it. But awareness is key. And that takes time to sit. It's one of the things that I love about meditation. Meditation will force you into the present moment to be completely aware of everything that you're feeling and also why you are feeling it. And that's a very powerful tool for moving forward. Quite frankly, it also has helped me hone in to always know what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Many of us seek out in our pursuits without really taking the time to think about why we're doing what we're doing or how we're going to do it. And that's one of the true benefits of the present moment, is that it enables you to truly look at everything that is there for you and against you, and to move accordingly and appropriately. On that note, I'm going to close out this episode as I'm coming into later today. We're going to be doing some workshops, and this is in the space of manifestation. But I'm going to close out here on something that I just wrote last night. It's called Almost Broken. When I started up this mountain, I saw the world through different eyes. I had no thoughts about fatigue. I focused only on the prize. Somewhere along the journey, my knees began to shake. My body lost its strength, and my will began to break. Forcing air into my lungs, I tried to stand up straight, and in that moment, I was certain that failure was my fate. As the world began to spin, I felt my body hit the ground. I tried calling out for help, but I couldn't make a sound. As I lie there contemplating all the things I'd never do, all the dreams that I once had that now never will come true, I decided that I wasn't done, and somehow I began to rise, and again looked up this mountain with that same old set of eyes. I was renewed, I was reborn with a purpose to inspire all of those who wouldn't take the climb so that I could take them higher. I continued on and reached the top, and I let out such a roar and released all of my doubts. They weren't needed anymore. Almost broken. Until next time, my friends, this is Chris Kushner with endless love and gratitude. Namaste.